A one-run loss. A stunning comeback in the final moments. This is how the Los Angeles Dodgers, who had been controlling the game against the Chicago Cubs, saw their lead vanish in the last breath of the game. A score of 7-6, and the Los Angeles team watched yet another opportunity slip through their fingers. In a game that seemed like it was already secured, the turnaround was a tough and disorienting blow. But behind this defeat, there is more than just the bitter taste of a lost game. What does this reveal about the team? How can a team with stars like Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Teoscar Hernandez, even with a decent offensive performance, watch everything collapse at the end? It's a question that is popping up in the minds of fans and analysts as the Dodgers try to understand where they are going wrong. To understand the weight of this loss, we need to look at the franchise's recent history. The Dodgers, one of the most successful teams of the past decade, are known for their strength in decisive moments and their ability to bounce back after setbacks. But in 2025, the team is facing even more pressure. Not only for their continued success, but also for the high expectations they have to contend for the World Series. Every close loss like this one against the Cubs raises a crucial question. How long can the Dodgers rely solely on their star-studded roster? When will the rotation and bullpen, which have already shown signs of instability, start to take their toll? And what exactly is happening that, even when the team seems in control, things unravel so unpredictably? Now, before we move further into this analysis, I need a favor. If you're enjoying this type of content, with a cinematic approach and detailed insights into the MLB behind the scenes, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. It helps us a lot to keep bringing in-depth analyses like this directly to you. And feel free to comment with your opinion. Do you think the Dodgers can recover from this setback? Or does this loss expose a bigger weakness that could jeopardize their ambitions for the rest of the season? Back to the game against the Cubs, it seemed like the game was in the Dodgers' hands. They had built a 5-3 lead and were controlling things on the mound. Pitcher Jack Dreyer, who had been impressive, seemed like a solution for the rotation. However, in his lone inning, he found himself caught up in a series of mistakes. Allowing 4 runs, Dreyer couldn't hold on to the advantage the Dodgers had secured. And that's when the comeback happened. While the Cubs' bullpen, which hasn't been a model of reliability this season, stepped up with a solid performance, the Dodgers' bullpen failed when they needed it most. These failures are even more painful when you realize the team had a comfortable lead, and this type of loss is always harder to swallow, especially when the difference is just 1 run. But the problem wasn't only on the mound. The Dodgers' offensive performance was also a double-edged sword. While Teoscar Hernandez shone, driving in 4 of the team's 6 runs, the production from other key players like Shohei Ohtani wasn't enough to restore confidence to the team in the clutch moments. Hernandez did what he could, with a home run and a 2-run hit. But in the end, it was the Cubs' bullpen that shone, not the Dodgers. And the reality is that in tight games like this one, you need more than just a few brilliant moments from 1 or 2 players. You need consistency, especially in the most critical parts of the game. And then the big question, what do the Dodgers need to do to ensure they won't be caught off guard again? The answer is clear: adjustments, and fast. The rotation and bullpen need more stability. You can't rely on a solid performance from just one pitcher in every game. Jack Dreyer, who had shown signs of promise, became the victim of the night. But he is merely a reflection of a bigger problem that's beginning to emerge behind the scenes. The instability in the rotation is a recurring theme, and the fans are already starting to wonder if it will be necessary to seek reinforcements, either through trades or internal adjustments. The team has enough talent to keep dreaming of the World Series, but these bullpen failures may end up being the Achilles heel that undermines the team's ambitions. Now, looking at the immediate impact of this loss, we need to focus on the upcoming games. The Dodgers will face the Pirates in a 3-game series, and this will be a crucial opportunity to prove they are ready to bounce back. But will this loss to the Cubs be the turning point the Dodgers need to correct the course of the season? Or will it be the reflection of something deeper, a structural flaw that will continue to haunt them? Behind the scenes, there's also talk about tactical adjustments that need to be made. The pressure on the Dodgers has never been higher, and this loss places an even larger magnifying glass on the team. Trade rumors are starting to circulate, but for now, the solution is more in the Dodgers' own hands. They need to adjust, correct the mistakes made, and show, both on paper and on the field, that they can win when it truly matters. Now the big question remains: will the Dodgers overcome these challenges, or will they continue to suffer from their internal flaws? Will the lack of consistency in the bullpen be the breaking point for the team? Or on the contrary, will they use this loss as motivation to adjust their strategy and move forward? Leave your opinion in the comments below. We want to know what you think about the future of the Dodgers this season. As the Los Angeles Dodgers try to deal with the injuries affecting their rotation, the search for solutions in the trade market seems increasingly imminent. The possible deal with the St. Louis Cardinals for Erick Fedde, as we discussed, would be a smart, low-risk move, offering the Dodgers the depth they need while waiting for the return of Shohei Ohtani and Blake Snell. But with injuries piling up and pressure mounting, will this temporary fix be enough to keep the team in the playoff race, or will the Dodgers need something more substantial to ensure their long-term success? The Dodgers' situation becomes even more critical when we consider the impact these injuries are having on the rest of the team. Without Shohei Ohtani available to contribute on the mound, the team finds itself in a tough position. The impact of his absence goes beyond just a lack of talent on the field. It's a loss of consistency and depth in a rotation that, although talented, has already shown signs of fragility. Blake Snell, who had been an important addition to the team, is now also struggling to recover, further increasing the pressure on the other members of the rotation. In this scenario, the possibility of adding Erick Fedde to the team, while seemingly a logical option, is not a magical solution. The Cardinals pitcher doesn't have the potential to turn the Los Angeles Dodgers into an unbeatable team, but with an expiring contract, he could be a useful piece while the Dodgers wait for Snell and Ohtani to return. Fedde could easily slot into the 5th starter position in the rotation, but over time, when the key players finally return, he could be moved to the bullpen, taking on a long relief role in the later stages of the season. This flexibility is what makes Fedde an attractive option, but it also raises the question of how much the Dodgers are willing to settle for a temporary fix. The risk of such a trade isn't very high, but is this move enough to keep the team competitive during the more intense parts of the season? Considering the caliber of other teams vying for the National League title, it's hard to believe the Dodgers can rely solely on a 5th starter to overcome heavy hitters like the Braves, Mets, or even the Padres. Now, as the trade market heats up, the fact that the Cardinals are in a rebuilding phase makes the trade rumors even more tangible. As mentioned, Fedde isn't the only name that might be on the table, and the situation in St. Louis could open the door to a series of interesting moves. Of course, the Dodgers, one of the most aggressive franchises in the trade market, will be keeping an eye on these developments, always ready to add players who can contribute immediately without compromising the future of the team. And this is where things start to get even more intriguing. With the trade market heating up, what else might be on the table for the Dodgers? If the deal for Fedde is just an initial step, the team could be planning a more impactful trade. To do so, they would need to part ways with some of their own players, which brings up a new question: who would be sacrificed in a larger move? Considering the Dodgers have good depth at certain positions, especially in the outfield and on the offensive line, The possibility of a significant trade to bring in an elite pitcher is not out of the question. The team may need a pitcher who not only fills a spot in the rotation, but also has the ability to lead the team in key moments, something that hasn't happened with many of the current pitchers on the roster. This kind of decision goes beyond a simple trade. It's about weighing the risk and reward. And the pressure on the franchise grows with each lost game, especially because the Los Angeles Dodgers know that to win the World Series, the pitching rotation needs to be more than just functional. It needs to be dominant. Without a clear answer to the current problems, the team could find itself in an uncomfortable position in a season where the competition is getting stronger by the day. In the meantime, the rumors continue to spread, and inevitably, more teams will start to get involved in negotiations as the trade deadline approaches. For the Dodgers, the focus should be on how to add immediate impact to their rotation without compromising financial flexibility and team chemistry. Fedde is just the beginning, but the future of this season could depend on a series of decisions involving some of the biggest names in the market. As the trade window approaches, the team needs to ask itself, is adding a player like Fedde enough to take the Dodgers to the next level, or will something more be necessary to secure the title? And amid all this movement, Dodgers fans and MLB fans alike are wondering what will happen in the coming days. The trade with the Cardinals might just be a short-term move, but with injuries and the pressures of the calendar, it could be the first of many steps the team needs to take to ensure they don't lose momentum in the race for the title. The next few weeks could define the season, and with that, it will be crucial to see how the Dodgers maneuver to address their weaknesses. Now, we want to hear your opinion. If you were the Dodgers general manager, would you make the trade for Erick Fedde, or look for something more impactful in the pitching market? Leave your comment below and share your vision for the future of the Dodgers rotation. And, of course, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on trade movements and much more. See you in the next video!